So yesterday, Nintendo Switch dropped a significant console update. It's kind of funny that it went almost hand in hand with the PlayStation update. It's like they planned it, right? Nintendo Switch came out on March 3rd, 2017, which places the Bluetooth standard most likely at Bluetooth 5, right? Bluetooth 5 came out in December 2016, added a pretty good slew of features. We didn't see a major update until Bluetooth 5.1, which came out in January 2019. I think they're up to 5.2 or 5.3 now. Yeah, so 5.2 just came out. Why do I mention all that? Okay, well, when PlayStation came out, it had Bluetooth to it, okay? This is nothing new. We knew it had Bluetooth because the controllers themselves were Bluetooth connected to the console. That is how you were able to use the Joy-Cons. Actually, like a Bluetooth 4.1. So everything worked out pretty well because it was low latency, it was close. Most of the time, due to the size of the screen, due to the data that was being transmitted from the controller to the console, it wasn't really over the top in terms of data, and it worked pretty well, right? Not a lot of issues. You did hear a lot of stuff with Joy-Con drift. I don't attribute that to Bluetooth. I do attribute that to poor manufacturing of the Joy-Con, particularly the traction and the travel speed of the analog sensors, which I've talked a lot about in my past videos. Go back and just search my channel for that. You can read all about that, or hear all about that, I should say. Why am I talking so much about Bluetooth? Well, that is the crux of the big Nintendo Switch update that came. Here it is, version 13.0. It is available worldwide. You can download it via the internet. And it's going to give you a couple big things. Number one, the biggest point is Bluetooth audio, which blows my mind that the Nintendo console has been around since 2017. And finally, they decide it's time to include Bluetooth audio. It's boggling. Now, I did test it. It sucks. And it sucks really bad. There is at least a 1 second delay of latency on just about everything you do. I don't know why they waited so long to do this. The fact that this was built into the base Nintendo Switch console, and we waited this long and it was gated behind software, is a mystery that only Nintendo could potentially ever answer. And why they waited so long to implement this standard so late in the game, and it doesn't even work well, is boggling to me. Unfortunately, they did not fix a lot of the other problems that Nintendo suffers, particularly with voice chat. Most of the Bluetooth wireless earbuds also double as microphones. This is industry standard. You see the people walking around with the thing in their ear and they're talking, right? Well, unfortunately, Bluetooth microphones still not supported. So if you were hoping for Nintendo to finally wisen up and to finally release proper party chat, and this was like their creative backdoor way to do it, well, you're going to be disappointed. Also, because of, and I'm guessing the way Nintendo coded their stuff, I am not sure, you can only have 2 simultaneous Bluetooth connections to the system. Your Joy-Con set will count as 1. This isn't such a huge deal, I guess, but it just goes to show how poor the implementation was on this and why it's so bizarre to me. We waited 4.5 years for Nintendo to finally release this as the path going forward. Bluetooth audio cannot be used while local wireless communication is active. So you remember those cute little commercials with all the Nintendo Switch people playing the games and meeting up with their friends and having these local tournaments? Well, unfortunately, if you want to go down that route, you're not going to be able to have Bluetooth audio. Well, and the reality is, are you going to be sitting next to somebody with headphones on? Probably not. But Again, just another poor implementation and just another way of looking at how bad this is. Depending on the Bluetooth audio device, there may be some audio delay. I did a search on YouTube today. I was looking around on Reddit. Now, I don't have thousands and thousands of Bluetooth headsets. I am a wired guy, as you guys know. I am in love with digital audio converters. I have an Astro A40 mix amp setup on my PC. I have the shit Hell 2 upstairs for my PS5. I prefer wired connectivity, so I don't have a lot of ways to experiment with wireless, but I had a very difficult time finding anybody be able to talk about how great their Bluetooth experience was. Almost everybody universally said it's not worth playing. It introduces audio delay, it gives them a headache, and they turned it off almost as fast as they turned it on. Very, very odd. Nintendo, so I guess I'll wrap up with the Bluetooth piece, and I'll just say that this is yet another reason why I am so frustrated at Nintendo for releasing the OLED model and for not doing a major overhaul, a Switch Pro as it were, or Switch Series S or X, I don't know, whatever the naming convention is, to give us a little more horsepower and to modernize the console in many ways. Definitely wireless connectivity is at the focus of the Nintendo Switch's feature set. That is what this thing was designed around. You could play it anywhere. You could snap the Joy-Cons off, hand them to a buddy, play wirelessly wherever you want. Unfortunately, you're going to be doing it with a wired headset. That is not going to change, and that will not change after this update. So major red X from me on this particular set of features. And don't get your hopes up. Interestingly enough, Nintendo also included a dock update, which will allow for software updates to the dock. Now, they weren't really clear on what these updates would be. It just says that dock updates will be available for consoles with a LAN port. I'd be curious as to what they could possibly do. The only thing I can think of, and this is a total stretch, is they have somehow found a way through the software to push more power to a processor for some sort of overclocking. That's the only thing I can think. And even then, based on the technical specifications of what the Tegra chip can do, don't really think they'd see marginal performance gains anyway. But that's all I can think. So this is like an update for future updates. Like, we are going to allow you to upgrade the dock, but we're not telling you what you can do quite yet. Very, very bizarre as well. Lastly, they did add a calibrate control stick setting in an attempt, I think, to try to quell the Joy-Con drift nation that allows you to basically calibrate your joystick from the system settings screen. And that's about it. Not a very good feature set. I'm glad, I guess, they've updated it. I don't know. To me, at this point, when I look at a feature set like this, and I look back and I go back to, what the Nintendo actually launched with and how it was made and what it cost, and kind of looking at some of the technical specifications here, it is very clear this console was ridiculously underpowered when it came out. We all knew that. We all experienced the hiccups in Breath of the Wild, but it was such a fascinating game, we didn't care. Mario Odyssey, definitely dumbed down in resolution, but it ran beautifully, so we didn't care. I feel like Nintendo's bag of tricks is slowly closing in on them. They have a ton of IP. They can continue to make great games. Advance Wars, Metroid Dread's coming out later this year. Games I have already pre-ordered and am excited beyond belief for. We all know Breath of the Wild 2 is coming at some point as well. But Nintendo has to address the elephant in the room. This is not working. We are not getting the latest, greatest tech. Nintendo's never been about that. They've always been a gimmick company. And I respect that because we've gotten some phenomenal pushes in the video game industry because of them. However, when your gimmick is reliant on an old Bluetooth standard that has problems keeping up with new Bluetooth standards, which has a problem with giving you the best form and functionality, you have to wonder, what are they doing? Perfect example of this, perfect example, is the Nintendo Wii. When they had the Nintendo Wii Wiimote, if you remember, they added a Wiimote Plus module to it, and it was supposed to give additional gyro sensor array, and it was supposed to be a cleaner, faster solution in how to enjoy that experience. And if you're like me and you played Skyward Sword for about 6 minutes, you know how bad that experience was, because that remote constantly lost connectivity, constantly had to be recalibrated, lost what it considered dead center, had a lot of drift, had a lot of issues. Battery life was horrible with it. This is worrisome. And when I see this update and I see what Nintendo's doing, this update screams to me, way too little, way too late. Leave some comments below. Let me know your thoughts on the Nintendo Switch update. I want to hear from you guys. I appreciate the feedback as always. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.